Hello students, welcome to physics course. I am Professor Sirsat Somna. I am going to teach you physics paper second, principles of physics and applications. In this course there are 5 chapters. Out of that, the first chapter, physics of atoms. Within this chapter, today I am going to teach introduction about the atom and J.J. Thomson's atomic model. The first point, introduction about the atom. According to modern concept, atom composed of nucleus and electrons. Nucleus is at the center and electrons are revolving around it. Nucleus is again further subdivided into 2 parts, that is proton and neutron. Proton carry the positive charge and the value of that positive charge must be equal to 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. And mass of the proton, that must be equal to 1.6723 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. The next component of the nucleus, neutron. Neutron is electrically neutral. Means it cannot carry positive charge or negative charge. But what about the mass of the neutron? Neutron is little heavy as compared to the proton. And mass of neutron, that must be equal to 1.008 times mass of proton. The next component of the atom, that is electron. Electron carry negative charge, and that negative charge must be equal to minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. But what about the mass of the electron? Mass of the electron, that must be equal to 1 upon 1.832 times the mass of proton. From this, it is clear that mass of the electron is negligible as compared to the mass of proton as well as neutron. Here you remember that atom, it contains nucleus and electron. Again, nucleus contains proton and neutron. Proton carry the positive charge, neutron is neutral, and electron carry the negative charge. Second point, you remember that atom electrically neutral. Electrically neutral. It means that within the atom, number of protons that must be equal to the number of That's why atom electrically neutral. The next point related to this, the diameter of the atom, that must be equal to in terms of 10 raised to minus 10 meter, and diameter of the nucleus, that is in terms of 10 raised to minus 15 meter. Again, nucleus is at the center and electrons are revolving around it in different orbits. Electrons present in outermost orbit, that plays very important role. An electron in outermost orbit, we call it as a valence electron. And the role of this electron, that is during bonding formation with another atom or with another element. Again, these electrons play a very important role in electrical and optical properties of the substance. In addition to this, these electrons play a very important role for chemical reactivity. This is about the atom. See here, mass of the proton is very large as compared to the mass of the electron, and that's why total mass as well as total positive charge is supposed to be concentrated within the nucleus. Means whole mass of that atom is concentrated within the nucleus, and diameter of the nucleus is in terms of 10 raised to minus 15 meter, and diameter of the atom is 10 raised to minus 10. It means that there must be some empty space within the atom. This is according to the modern concept. Up to the end of 19th century, it was believed that atom is the smallest particle of an element. It is indivisible. It means that it cannot be further divided. And that's why number of scientists try to discover the internal structure of the atom. Number of scientists, out of that, J.J. Thomson. In 1897, performed the experiment, and that experiment called the cathode ray tube experiment. Cathode ray tube experiment. Cathode ray tube means that is simple glass tube sealed at both ends. Within this glass tube, two electrodes are fixed at each end. One electrode we call it as a cathode, another electrode We call it as a anode. In addition to this glass tube, there is an additional tube. It is connected to the vacuum pump. It is useful for adjusting the low pressure inside the tube. Simple glass tube. Within that tube, air or gas is filled, that is at low pressure. Suppose air is the air or gas at low pressure. The next point, between this cathode and anode, a high voltage is applied. High voltage is applied in terms of thousands. In terms of thousands. Due to this high voltage and the low pressure between the cathode and anode, discharge of electricity occurs. For discharge of electricity, these two conditions are very important. Pressure between these two electrodes must be very, very low. And second, between the two electrodes, potential or voltage must be very high. And due to this cathode emits a particles, and these particles are flow or travel, that is from cathode to anode. These particles are emitted by cathode, that's why they are called cathode rays. Cathode rays. But what about the nature of the cathode rays? Either they are positive charge or negative charge or neutral. For detecting the nature of this positive charge, Thomson applied an electric field. One electric field with the help of the two plates. One plate is positively charged, another is negatively charged. And then this cathode particle is passed through these plates. What's the observation? When this cathode particle pass through these plates, at that time, what's the observation? That cathode particle deflect towards the positive plate and away from the negative plate. It means that this cathode ray carry the negative charge. It means that cathode rays are negatively charged particles. This is actually the first part of the experiment. In the second part, J.J. Thomson find out charge to mass ratio of the cathode rays. Charge to mass ratio of the cathode rays. For finding the charge to mass ratio of the cathode ray, Thomson changing the material of the cathode number of times, changing the gas inside the tube number of times, and performing the experiment repeated and repeated, and for each and every time find out the charge to mass ratio. And it is observed that charge to mass ratio it is constant, and that value must be equal to 1.7882 into 10 raised to 11 charge per coulomb. It means that charge to mass ratio is independent of the material of the cathode and the nature of the gas inside the tube. and therefore he concluded that cathode rays are the constituent of the atoms of each and every element, and were named as an electron. Cathode ray named as a electron. It means that Thomson was the first scientist that says within the atom some particles are present, and that particles carry negative charge, and name of that particle, that is electron. But at that time Thomson knew atom electrically neutral, and that's why he reasons there must be some source of positive charge within the atom to balance the negative charge electrons. It means that positive charges are also inside the atom. Inside the atom. After performing experiment, J.J. Thomson After performing the experiment, J.J. Thomson proposed his atomic model regarding the structure of the atom. According to him, atom is nothing but a positively charged sphere with electrons are embedded in it. This is positively charged sphere. And electrons are embedded in it. Just like watermelon, red part of that watermelon is equivalent to the positive charge, and the seeds in it are equivalent to the electron. This is the first concept of J.J. Thomson. Second one, according to J.J. Thomson, atom electrically neutral. It means that number of positive charges and number of negative charges within the atom both are equal in magnitude. Third point, with reference to the Thomson, diameter of that atom is 10 raised to minus 10 meter, and fourth point, according to Thomson, electrons within the atom not stationary, they are vibrating with respect to their mean position, and during its vibration they emits a light. Means electrons emit light. After proposing the model by J.J. Thomson regarding the atom, but some points cannot be explained by Thomson. The points which are not explained by Thomson, these are actually the drawbacks. The first drawback, Thomson cannot explain the stability of that. Thomson failed to explain how the positive charge bound the negative charge. That cannot be explained by the Thomson. In addition to this, second point, Thomson cannot explain why the scattering of alpha particle takes place when it is bombarded on the gold foil. Cannot be explained. In addition to this, Thomson also cannot explain why the spectral lines are observed experimentally. This thing cannot be explained by the Thomson, and that's why Thomson's model discarded. Okay, thank you.